All right, everybody, what is going on? Good afternoon. We've got two bits of news that I want to cover in this video. One is kind of sort of related to the Seahawks. The other is definitely related to the Seahawks. Not directly, but you can't deny that there is a level of interest we as Seahawks fans should have in that news. And I think this news probably also as well. Although I think there is a lot of subjectivity on whether or not we should be particularly concerned or upset about it. Some people are going to be cool with it, some people aren't going to be cool with it. It just kind of depends on your perspective of the current needs on Seattle and whether or not they should extend themselves to address them. So, first, we're going to talk about this trade that just happened a few minutes ago. Before we get to that, though, I do want to take 60 seconds to talk about the sponsor, so be right back. See you in a minute. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you guys about Sleeper. I'll tell you a little secret as well. It's more than just a platform for fantasy leagues. This year, millions of users have enjoyed playing fantasy sports on Sleeper, but there's so much more to it. You have live stats, real-time updates of all stats. You have a news feed with lightning-fast updates on players and teams, and a real-time chat where you can engage with other users about plays, performances, games, all kinds of stuff during the sports season. So download Sleeper, experience it for yourself, and don't forget to use my promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit, and pair that with their new promo that will give you a free $20 entry, no deposit needed. So you can use both of those promos. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and going. So check out Sleeper today and use those promos. All right, welcome back. So the trade that just happened a few minutes ago, this comes from Schefter, Garofalo, Rappaport, pretty much all the big ones. The Ravens have traded edge rusher Odafe Oweh to the LA Chargers. So Odafe Oweh was a good player for the Ravens. He had, I believe, 10 sacks last year. He was a good player, but he's not a superstar or even really a star. He's a good, solid player. He wanted a new contract. He decided to show up for the 2025 season without an extension. And the Ravens are 1-4, probably going to go 1-5 this weekend, to be perfectly honest. And this is just not their year. I think that's become apparent. It's just not their year. So it makes sense to trade him. And it also makes sense that you wouldn't get a lot back for him. But let's take a look at this trade compensation. So according to Schefter, the Ravens have received safety Alohi Gilman, who's an okay player, but relatively anonymous, and a 5th round pick in next year's draft. A 5th round pick. The Chargers received Odafe Oweh, of course, and a 7th round pick in 2027. So 7th round pick is whatever. That's basically nothing. But the trade here is really Oweh and a 5th round pick. I'm sorry, Odafe Oweh for a 5th round pick and a half decent safety. So that's not a lot. That is definitely not a lot. And given where Seattle is right now with their edge room, I think there's going to be some discussion on whether or not the Seahawks should have been involved here, because this is not a big trade. This is a pretty mild trade. Odafe Oweh is a good player. He had 10 sacks last year. He's kind of like Boye Mafe. He's like that level of player. He's good, but probably not a star. Just a good starting player to have around, part of your edge rotation. You feel good about him, but you don't want to break the bank for him. And that's the thing to keep in mind here. The Ravens didn't want to pay him. He probably wants a lot of money because, remember, edge rushers get paid big bucks. And I think that is what motivated this trade more than compensation. Like, the compensation is kind of secondary to just getting something for him. What I would say is that you probably would have gotten a compensatory pick if you had just let Odafe Oweh walk at the end of the year. But maybe not. If you're going to be active in free agency, that's probably not going to happen. So That's the gamble. And look, for the Ravens, it doesn't mean a lot, right? Because they're bad this year. They're just bad. They're not going to do anything. Lamar's probably going to miss a few more games. I mean, we've seen this before with Lamar, right? They keep saying, "Oh, he'll be back, he'll be back, he'll be back," and he never gets back. That happened a couple years ago. Maybe it happens again this year, but I'm still a little bit surprised by this return, and I do think that it is valid to point out that Seattle could have been involved here and probably could have matched or equaled this offer without overextending themselves. But it depends on how much the Ravens value Gilman. If they really like Gilman, then that might not have been something we could have topped. And again, final year of his deal, the Ravens save $8 million, so that's a part of the trade as well for them, so that's a factor. And you only have him for 12 more games plus the playoffs, right? So you can't give up too much for a guy you only get for 12 games. All right, so definitely an interesting debate over whether or not the Seahawks should have gone for something here, because Oweh is a good player, and we are down to the nub at edge right now. We've really not got enough in the tank at the moment. We need a happy accident at edge to survive these next few weeks without Derek Hall, because I do think it'll be a couple of weeks at least. Probably the bye week is going to bail us out a little bit here, but it could be a couple games before we get Hall back. So sound off down below. Give me your thoughts. Not a big trade, but keep in mind, context matters. One other piece of news I want to touch on before we end this video, unrelated to what we just talked about, but very related to the Seahawks' upcoming game. The Jaguars have placed their starting tight end, Brenton Strange, on injured reserve. So he will miss time. He's definitely going to miss the Seahawks game, which is what we as Seahawks fans really care about. This is a pretty big loss, and Brenton Strange is not a household name in the NFL right now, but I don't know, maybe he should be. He actually leads the Jaguars in receptions with 20 through the first 5 games of the year. He has more catches than Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter, and those are the two guys that everybody knows about. Now, he's second in yards, he's second to Brian Thomas in yards, but Brenton Strange has been Trevor Lawrence's top target so far, and he's been good. He's been very efficient. He's got 24 targets, 20 catches. Like, you can't beat that. That efficiency makes Brian Thomas ashamed of himself. Like, look at Brian Thomas's efficiency in comparison. It's not even close. He's got the same number of targets as Travis Hunter and 20 more yards, 22 more yards as a tight end. So that's a significant loss for Jacksonville as they try to get through their short week before they play us. So when we play Jacksonville, we now know for sure that we will not have to deal with Brenton Strange. And that matters. That matters a lot. Because suddenly, this Jacksonville offense that looked like it was loaded with playmakers, maybe not. Maybe not so much. Maybe it's not quite the smorgasbord of weapons for Trevor Lawrence that we were initially thinking, especially with Brian Thomas doing whatever the heck he's doing so far this year. I don't even know. Don't ask me for nothing on that one. Okay, see you guys later. I'm probably going to do at least one more video later today. Kind of want to do a more broad strokes video, just talk about the team in general, but that may be saved for tomorrow. I don't know. All right, everyone have a good rest of your day. Go Hawks. Going to catch the Mariners game whenever they actually play it, and everyone have a good time.